Welcome friends, join me today as we take on a full garage makeover. We're transforming our chaotic dumping ground of a garage where even parking is a massive challenge into a functional, organized space that meets the ever-changing needs of our family. Along the way, we'll declutter, add some fresh paint and personality, and introduce some functional storage solutions to help this space grow with us for years to come. A big thank you to Lowe's for sponsoring today's video, but then getting right into this, our first step was to clear the garage and prep for painting. When our house was built, they never finished the drywall in this space, and the stripes on the walls just left it feeling so unfinished. So in making over this space, painting it was right at the top of my priority list of things I wanted to do, so we started there. But before any painting could happen, we first had to clear everything out. And we used it as a perfect opportunity to do some major decluttering. We sold our extra fridge, went through our outdoor decor and gear, and decluttered some old camping chairs, outdoor throws, and just random things we found in the garage too. And we finally got rid of the leftover odds and ends, wood, scrap, paint that had been piling up in our garage from some previous home projects. Today's the day. These piles of wood are finally leaving. We're gonna take them to the dump. These have been in here for, how long have these been in here for? Like 2 years? Because it was before Oliver was born. It's funny how sometimes you don't really realize just how bad a problem is getting until it's way too far gone. That was definitely the situation here. As we were pulling everything out, I found myself wondering how we let it get to this point. I think because we were still able to, barely, but we were able to fit both cars in the garage, I told myself that it was fine. But every single corner of this space had little piles of mess and clutter and things that didn't belong. Honestly, taking it all out was the best possible way to approach it because it really forced us to reckon with every single item that we had in there to make decisions about whether or not it was something that we wanted to keep going forward. I have literally so much paint here that we need to go through. But then with the garage cleared of its contents, we got the space ready to be painted. We used a leaf blower to pick up all the debris on the floor and then tarped everything off. So we just spent quite a while getting everything just tarped down, taped off. We're borrowing a paint sprayer from a friend, which I'm hoping will really make the actual painting process a lot faster. But the prep work was definitely more intense when you're getting ready to spray. So verdict on the paint spraying. This was our first time using a paint sprayer. I think at the end of the day, we've decided we prefer using paint rollers over the sprayer. There's less prep work and we found that there was less overall mess, but this was a good option for a larger space and there is something undeniably satisfying about watching the paint go on with a sprayer. So it has been, well, honestly, it's been a couple of weeks. We've let the paint cure in here, but look at how good this place looks. Already, just the addition of paint was such a massive improvement. I love the paint color we went with in here. This is Alabaster by Sherwin-Williams. It's just that perfect balance of making the space feel very light and bright, which is important because it isn't that well lit, especially when the garage door is closed, but it also has this softness to it. It's not too stark, so it's not gonna show like every single small scuff. I got our paint as well as everything that we're using for today's makeover from Lowe's. They're my go-to for all things home improvement and home decor, all at great prices. So a big thank you to Lowe's for partnering with me on today's video. Next steps for the garage, we're not quite done painting. I really want to paint this door and trim in kind of an accent color just to bring a little bit of life and interest to the space. I'm going to be using, I went to Lowe's earlier to pick it up. It's from the HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams collection. It's one of their colors of the year. So this really beautiful blue called Delft. So we're gonna paint the door and trim that color. I also want to build out our work area. We ordered a work table from Cobalt that we're going to be setting up. It looks really nice. And also a matching cabinet, also from Cobalt. We'll be going over here. We're going to use that to store all of Christopher's tools, our paint, some other just miscellaneous supplies. Christopher and I are really excited to have a space out here that we can work on projects. I think we're gonna use that a lot. Then we're also going to set up some organization systems for our sports equipment, some just miscellaneous items, strollers, our ladder, Christopher's bike, all the things that have just been piled on the floor. We're gonna give them a home. So it's kind of the general plan of action from here, some of the bigger bit that we're going to be putting in, but I did also order a couple smaller things too. In the process of painting our garage, I realized that we don't really have a ton of work clothing. Christopher actually ended up getting some paint on a shirt that he really liked as we were painting, so I figured we just need some good like work clothes. Lowe's carries Carhartt, which I feel like is the workwear brand. So for us, I feel like Christopher and I are just gonna share these. I got just a nice Carhartt black t-shirt and then also a long sleeve. I really like this green color. My thought was we can just use these as project clothes. They're super sturdy, great quality, and we could just use these as our go-to for if we're ever painting around the house, working outside, or just anytime we don't want to have to worry about things getting a bit messy. Then while we're tackling the garage, I also want to tackle the space right outside our garage too. Earlier this year, we mulched all of our flower beds and it looks so good until it's lawn care day when inevitably, whether it's from the mowing or they also blow kind of the porch area, there's always mulch that ends up just all over our driveway. It looks so messy. So I saw, I think it was on Instagram actually, this Dominator mulch anchor, but it's basically a glue and it says it's pet and plant friendly. It's designed to hold your mulch in place. So I love the sounds of that, going to give that a go. I just ordered all that online. Lowe's has free shipping on orders of, I think it's $45 or more. It came so quickly. They also have store pickup, same day delivery. They really make it easy. So shop all your home needs using Lowe's new finds and check out my description for links to everything. All right, right now, I think we're going to wait on painting the door. I think I might do that later today, maybe tomorrow. I think right now I want to focus on building some of our larger organization pieces.
So I spent most of the afternoon assembling. We had 3 larger pieces we wanted to put in. This sports organizer for all our athletic equipment. Christopher especially plays a lot of sports and had just a lot of random paddles and balls and equipment associated with each. And with our son quickly growing older too, I'm sure he'll have plenty of his own things soon. So I wanted to find a convenient way to store all of our sports related equipment together. This looks like it's gonna work out great for storing our sports equipment. It's got compartments for, I think, everything that we need. I'm excited to start filling this out. So I'm thinking that just building this in place is going to be the way to go. It says to do it on a piece of cardboard, so as long as I don't take the tabletop out of it, it's already on cardboard. Then the other 2 big pieces I put together were, I mentioned earlier, the workbench for Christopher. We do a lot of home projects, so I wanted to create a space where he could work on things and also have kind of a home base for all of his tools. I love how well built this table is. It's a great size.
Okay, let's see if we did this right.
So I assembled that and then enlisted Christopher's help for the cabinet, which I love that it matches the table. Both of these were really straightforward to put together, which as someone who's assembled a lot of furniture in my time, I really appreciated. And they're great quality.
So it's a new day, and to be honest, I don't have a ton of time to work on the garage, but I would love to get this door painted. So we're going to sand it down really lightly, wipe it down, and then paint. I'm really excited to see that Delta blue go on and just to add a bit of color to the space.
So after sanding and wiping it down, I just let the door dry for a couple of hours before going in with, I did 2 coats of paint. And I'll be honest, I was excited, but also a little bit nervous about the blue. It was a pretty bold choice for me. The garage isn't typically a place where aesthetics are top of mind, but to me, that kind of felt like the perfect place to experiment. And as the paint started going on, any fears I had quickly melted away. The color totally changed the vibe of the space in the best way possible and added in some personality and creative flair that I didn't even know was missing.
So we let the door dry overnight, and it's mid-afternoon now. In the mid-afternoon light, I think it looks awesome. So here's what the door looks like after it's been left to dry overnight. I'm loving this Delft color. Goes great with the alabaster. Today is the day that I think it's really going to start coming together. Right now we're about to position some of the larger pieces in their final home. Then we get to start organizing. So we really are in the home stretch here. Right now we just need to make some decisions about where everything is going to go. Basically like workbench here and cabinet here, or cabinet here, workbench here on the corner. I'd say let's try that first and we can move it if we don't like it. It's a great technique. Let's go saw in this corner. I think that works, and we've given the hot water heater some clearance on either side. Note to self, don't try organizing your garage during the hottest day of the summer in the future. It's 100 degrees out right now, maybe a little bit less here in the garage, but I'm toasty. We're not gonna let that stop us though, so let's get to organizing. And whenever trying to tackle a space like this, which I'm looking at right now, here's everything that we have to organize. When dealing with just a lot of stuff, I like to start with the easiest things first, the things that I know where they're going to end up, then slowly work my way to the harder stuff. So I think our sports equipment is what I'm most confident in where it's going to end up. So let's begin there.
And as expected, organizing this was pretty straightforward. I had intentionally chosen a sports rack that had slots and compartments for all the things we needed, so it was super satisfying to watch all that go in. But then while I organized, Christopher put up a pegboard above the worktop just to give us an extra space to store tools. We'd had it pre-cut, so it was really easy to put up. He just attached it to some 1x3s that were secured to studs so that there would be some space behind the pegboard for the hooks to actually go. Then he also installed this Rubbermaid FastTrack system on the far side of the garage. This was another element that I was really excited about in planning this makeover. It's a really easy to install option. I think start to finish it took us less than 30 minutes. It can help get the things in your garage off the ground so they aren't taking up valuable square footage. Then we took a little break because I know I mentioned it already, but the heat this weekend was unreal. It was around 100 degrees Fahrenheit every day, so wanted to cool off a bit. But then towards evening, I went back out to paint the pegboard the matching Delft blue. I already liked the color of the door before, but repeating the color and painting the pegboard really brought the space together. I feel like really helps take the garage to the next level. Oh, and I will just mention too, a quick little tip if you do find yourself painting pegboard. I went on with really thin coats of paint just to make sure that I wasn't going to be accidentally sealing up any of the holes. That seemed to work well. I just did the same 2 coats of paint I'd done on the door.
All right, today's the day. Let's finish this garage. I'm thinking I want to start with hanging all of the bigger things that we have up using this Rubbermaid FastTrack system. We're gonna use it to hang things like our ladder, strollers, Christopher's bike, the big stuff that's been just on the ground until now. We're gonna put it up so that everything stays organized while still being easily accessible. Each of these racks is designed to hold, I think it's like 1,000 pounds. So it's nice that we don't really need to worry about weight. Biggest things are the bike and the ladder, so let's start there. That takes up a lot of space that way. Can you hang it sideways? Okay, yeah, that takes up way less space. Okay, yeah, I think I like this better. Well, this officially looks amazing. It's going to be so nice to have all of this stuff off the ground and on the wall. I'm sure we'll continue playing around with it as we get a better feel for what we like where, but love how easy it was to set up. We've got some extra hooks to play around with. I feel like this is gonna work really well, and I also really like that. I feel like it's something that's going to be able to grow with us. As what we have and what we need changes over the years, it's really easy to swap things out. Then really all that's left that needs organizing is this cabinet and workspace behind me. I got some simple, just black plastic tubs that we're going to use to group like items together. Like I'm thinking one for gardening, one for tools. We're gonna get into it and just see what the space calls for. We're gonna start with putting the heaviest stuff, so our 5-gallon cans of paint. I think probably all of our paint on the bottom shelf here, and then work our way up. To fully empty out this cabinet, and I'm seeing a bunch of spray paints in here. Some of these colors we'll totally use, but like there's this metallic red crumb color. Can't imagine we'll ever use that. So I'm just gonna try to figure out which ones of these we actually want to keep. Let's do painting supplies in one of these tall ones. I'm just gonna put all our brushes in this painting cup. Rollers. Might come across a few more things we want to put in here as we go, but I think this is good for now. I'm just using my little old school label maker to make labels for all of these bins. Then thinking another big one for big tools and drills.
At this point, I was really just trying to find a home for all the remaining things that we knew we wanted to keep, but that we had yet to put anywhere. So I used these bins to create some broad groupings of items. So I did a couple for tools, one for my gardening supplies, and then actually a specific one for pots and saucers. I also realized we have a whole bunch of different lengths of extension cords, and we do use a lot of them around Christmas. So I dedicated a specific bin to those. Then I also used a handful of smaller bins too for more specific categories like command strips, painter's tape, bike repair supplies, and some miscellaneous items. Then I just added a few final touches to finish out the space.
Well friends, our garage transformation is officially complete, and I for one hardly recognize this as the same space we started with. Let's take a quick hop back in time and remember what we started with. And this is what we've transformed it into, what it looks like now.
I could not be happier with how this space came out. We took this garage from being a jumbled mess of stuff to a space where everything has a home. We've grouped liked items together, gotten so many of our bigger items off the floor. It feels like our garage has grown several feet. I love the workspace we've added too. It's just beckoning for another home project. This space really does feel just so much more organized and functional.
We truly have just completely made over this space and turned what I feel like is best described as a dumping ground into a practical garage that's ready for adventures, for projects, that's ready for family life. And not only that too, we also made it a lot easier to park both of our vehicles in here. So I hope this has given you some great inspiration and ideas on how you can organize your garage and turn it to a more functional, practical space, one that works for you. And let me know what your favorite part of this makeover was in the comments below. And as always, if you're interested in checking out where anything is from, I'll have all the items that I used today linked up for you in the description box below. And a big thank you to Lowe's for partnering with me on today's video. That's everything for today though, friends. So thank you so much for watching, for being here, and I will see you all again very soon. Bye.